Albert said, "Does Lamb really want $32 million a year?" We'll get into that. And Pete on vacation says, "I heard Anthony was crying earlier today when he heard about the CeeDee Lamb report. Any truth to these rumors, Anthony?" So, Anthony, without us getting into everything, just simply answer, Pete, were you crying today?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, he's worried about you.
Worry
He
about
also went
me.
on. He also went on to say, I also saw Lamb wants to play with a real QB like Daniel Jones. That just tells me that Pete is sitting at the bar drinking
Yeah,
a
he's
gallon of
drinking
gasoline.
coming from the
Yeah,
fucking Broncos fan with Bo
yeah,
Dix.
yeah. If the bartender is watching this program and hears that comment, he's going to cut you off, Pete. So I would take it easy there. But anyway, yeah. So all right. So we go from one top fantasy player to another. CeeDee Lamb wants his contract extension. Reports are saying that the Cowboys wide receiver plans to not show up to training camp without a deal.
Yeah.
Then there is a thing here. If you're on X, we have a lot of bullshit, call themselves beat reporters, and they're really not. They're really offbeat reporters. They're off base reporters. But this one guy, Ricky, who could be followed at Pretty Ricky 213, he's on the money a lot. People don't realize this. If you go to his account again at Pretty Ricky 213, you'll see he gets a lot of stuff right. As he says, CeeDee Lamb will request to be traded if the Cowboys do not offer him a new contract worth at least $32 million per year. He wants to be at least the second highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Anthony, I'm not going to go too far into this. I'll let you go with it. When I see these things, they don't shock me. CeeDee Lamb should want to be one of the highest paid wide receivers in the NFL. He deserves to be. And much like the Brandon Ayuk thing, while I get that the dollars and cents are very much different, I think both of these guys are staying with these teams long term. So if I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm not really losing a lot of sleep. But Anthony, what says you? I mean, if there's ever a time to be concerned with Jerry Jones, it's nowadays. It's this offseason in particular.
Yes, and I'm when it's all said and done, I think Lamb, Micah Parsons, who's going to be up for a new deal, they're definitely coming back. The one I do worry about, believe it or not, is Dak Prescott, which is another story for another day, because eventually, you're paying for Phillip Rivers, and I think I might have said this on the show or in our chat, but like Phillip Rivers win 12 games a year and can't get anywhere close to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Is that what Jerry is hesitant by? Did Jerry want the off the field stuff to go away like it did a few days ago for Dak? But like when it's all said and done, like your future might not be Dak, but it is CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. So let's focus on CeeDee Lamb here. I don't mind CeeDee Lamb wanting $32 million a year. I think he's worth it. And I think he is very much in the conversation with Justin Jefferson to be who the number one wide receiver in the NFL is. Like CeeDee Lamb, I call him a late bloomer. You got to remember his rookie year, Amari Cooper was still in Dallas. And as Amari left and as CeeDee Lamb stepped up into this offense, we've seen a massive ascension starting in 2022. Wide receiver 7 to fantasy points per game. Last year, wide receiver 1 in that category, and the overall wide receiver 1 over number 1 PPR receiver overall. You want to talk about Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson? They have injuries missed. CeeDee Lamb has never missed a game due to injury. Knock on wood, it doesn't start this year, but he has that because, the best ability is reliability and availability. Yes, and CeeDee Lamb brings that to the table. When called upon in 2022 and 2023, CeeDee, you got to carry this offense. 156 targets one year, 181 last year. Sensational seasons both ways. I mean, he just looks like a next level player. So when he's commanding $32 million a year, and this is the same offseason where Darius Slayton threatened to hold out, Cortland Sutton threatened to hold out. You're telling me I'm not going to blink an eye when CeeDee Lamb says, I'm not coming to fucking training camp. And I would cite, hey, our division rivals, that moron Darius Slayton wants a new deal. You damn right I want a new deal, and I want the most money because of what I have done since being in this league. And oh, by the way, 1 year I played with a backup quarterback for 5 games and probably still showed out. Remember when Dak got
God.
hurt for that times period?
I don't know if anything will ever be more adorable than Darius Slayton wanting to hold out. Like, who gives a shit, dude? Like,
And
who?
can
We
we
didn't
also
even realize you weren't here. We
can,
didn't. We didn't even know.
can we also cite that CeeDee Lamb?
Anthony, you could take that comment off the screen. By the way, it still says about you crying, but you're not
I don't
crying.
care.
You're
I don't care.
yeah. Oh,
But
you
can
don't
we
care. Oh, keep
cite
it.
that
Oh, man.
CeeDee Lamb last year broke out, like really broke it. This was year one in Mike McCarthy's system. This wasn't
30%
a
of the
lot of
team targets last year, too. By the way,
right, but this wasn't the Kellen Moore system. This was year one of McCarthy, which a lot of smart people in our industry, they were worried about the transition for Dak and CeeDee Lamb. They had their best years ever in year one in this system. So what can we expect this year? So yeah, pay CeeDee Lamb and absolutely draft CeeDee Lamb or CMC number one overall, because Dallas did nothing this offseason. They lost Gallup. Who cares? And maybe that's a testament to Jalen Tolbert. They didn't bring in a number two. They're happy with Brandon. They're happy. Like, listen, we have one of the best offenses last year with what we have.
Yeah.
And maybe that's one of the things Jerry's being smartened up about compared to the past. Instead of adding, hey, like, look what we're doing with what we have. Let's just maybe take care of our guys and try to keep going. I don't know. Maybe this is a different approach, but you got to pay CeeDee Lamb and you got to make him you got to put him up there with Justin Jefferson. It makes zero sense not to.
I would say, by the way, in terms of, a lot of people talk about the Cowboys sort of confusing offseason. And then you mentioned the Gallup thing. I wouldn't put that in the column of, Jerry's not paying attention, because Gallup wasn't long for this team at this rate. It was fine. That wasn't, to me, that's not like a bad thing. Like, oh, they lost Gallup. It's like,
No, he couldn't stay on the field. He had one outlier season that some moron fantasy analyst, they thought that was the real Michael Gallup. No, it was an outlier, because every other year he actually got worse. And so I don't even know if he was a true number two. He was probably a 3.
Yeah.
But he was making too money at one point.
Yeah. Gotta love those fantasy analysts. Jamie did say earlier, and then I'm going to brief you on Pete's vacation here. Jamie did say earlier, I went and Lamb a few times 101, as per our conversation about would you take somebody else over CMC. He said he doesn't like the RBs in the next round, so he went heavy wide receiver. That's fair. Yeah, we're getting next CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson in Dynasty. I think either way you're winning. I would probably go CeeDee Lamb for now, because say Dak Prescott stays. They're going to keep making beautiful fantasy music together. And we're going to get to the Vikings later, but who knows what's going to happen with the quarterback there. I mean, sure, is Justin Jefferson quarterback proof? Probably.
Yes.
Probably. I would say probably, but we're going to find out, apparently. But what says you there,
is
Anthony?
25 years old. Again, no games missed due to injury. Justin Jefferson, 25, and he missed 7 games last year. I do want to. I will take CeeDee Lamb in Dynasty,
sure,
because like I said, sure, we don't know if Dak's going to be back. We think he's going to be back. We don't know what JJ McCarthy is, and Justin Jefferson, by the way, last year, I know people are a little bit afraid because of the unknowns. Justin Jefferson with a compilation of backup quarterbacks. Last 4 games, he was wide receiver 22, wide receiver 7, wide receiver 34, wide receiver 1. In every one of those games, he saw at least 10 targets. 3 out of 4 of those games, 84 yards. 2 of those games over 141, and they had 1 at 192. He's fine. He's quarterback proof. But would it help if he had a quarterback like Kirk Cousins again, if that's what JJ McCarthy turned out to be? Yes, that makes him next level. I just don't know if Justin Jefferson is going to be week by week next level with shaky quarterback play. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll mention that really quick. We'll just throw this in there because it's going to take us probably about 2 minutes. There's some reports out there that are suggesting that JJ McCarthy will not start the year for said Vikings. It could be Sam Darnold time. I think either way, you're putting the quarterback proof question to the test, no matter who starts. I'll also just mention, if you go search JJ McCarthy and first pitch, you will see one of the worst first pitches by an NFL player that I've ever seen. But I mean, I don't really have a lot to give here, Anthony. I'm not looking to roster either quarterback in fantasy in just about every format. I
Not even
would
super
rather,
flex.
well, no, because here's my deal. If I don't want to deal with an issue if I don't want to deal with something that I think is going to be an issue, I just won't draft it. I just won't do it. There's other quarterbacks around there that I'll take. And if I have to wait that long, that's what I'm looking at for my second quarterback in a super flex, you know what? Then I done screwed up. That's the way I would view it. I would say, okay, well, I just burnt money here. So,
Yeah.
I mean, do you have any other thoughts beyond that? This whole quarterback thing in here in Minnesota?
I obviously dynasty long-term JJ McCarthy, but I don't
Sure.
mind Sam Darnold in a super flex, and I don't mind him as a QB3 in redraft, or best ball.
Sam Darnold, 49ers legend, So, and just to what's that? What
I was going to say, like, R.E. Sam Darnold, like, look what happened when Baker had the cup of coffee with McVay, and Sam Darnold,
Sure.
he goes to San Francisco. He learns the system. He probably learned how to play quarterback a little bit better. And now he's inheriting by far the best cast of weapons he's ever had in his NFL career. Why not take a shot? At worst, you cut him.
O'Connell too, not the worst coach to go to. Also after
comes from that McVay
I mean,
tree,
and he's also a former quarterback, so that helps.